I just talked with Desiree for about an hour, and I think it's important for people to know that the visit is not today. It's scheduled for next week. I think, so just to get that out of the way, in case you're waiting to hear how it went. However, Desiree has been reaching out to Drew once a day via phone, and he's not responding. She sent him a text. He's not responded. She let him know in that text that the reason she is calling is to see how Deshawn is doing with this information, and then was very clear that because the judge wants the amount of conflict between them to simmer down, to demonstrate that to Deshawn, it would be a good idea if they could talk on the phone together, and that Deshawn could hear them talking in a healthy and positive way. Literally, it can just be how's he doing today? What's he doing today? And what's he thinking about next week? The judge was clear that children are affected based on the way their parents communicate. He wants them to model healthy, appropriate conversation. Of course, Desiree's not guilty of not doing that because she hasn't been allowed to see him at all.
Drew Jenkins, why are you ignoring Desiree's attempts at communication? You know the judge told you that you guys need to have a good relationship and talk and model healthy habits and behaviors in front of Deshawn. Why are you not responding to her requests or her questions?
Oh babe, you want the full tea on Stephanie Jenkins? Buckle up, because this story is dripping with drama, and it's not just some harmless influencer spat. No, this could seriously shatter Stephanie's carefully crafted image, and even shift the whole custody battle. And right in the middle of all this? A little boy named Deshawn. Let's start from the top. Stephanie Jenkins, who you might know from TikTok or as Drew's live-in partner, has quietly morphed from content creator to real-life gatekeeper, and not in a sweet, protective way. We're talking full-on behind-the-scenes puppeteer. Rumor has it, she's the one blocking communication between Drew's son, Deshawn, and his biological mother, Desiree. But this isn't just some petty ex-drama. This is court-level serious. Desiree went to court not to fight for full custody or uproot Deshawn's life, but simply to get a few hours a week, 2 hours, babe. That was all she wanted. After years of being pushed away, she just wanted a small chance to reconnect, and the judge. Totally on board. They set up a parenting plan meant to ease Deshawn back into his mom's life in a calm, stable way. But what happened almost right after? Silence. No calls. No replies. Desiree's texts go unanswered. Calls go straight to voicemail. Every attempt to co-parent peacefully like the judge ordered? Completely ignored. You'd think she was trying to reach someone hiding underground, not her son's own dad. And this is where Stephanie's name keeps popping up. While Drew isn't answering, Stephanie is very much online, controlling Drew's image, filming TikToks, answering comments, and allegedly managing his DMs. People are whispering what we're all thinking: she's the one filtering and silencing Desiree's efforts. Whether Drew realizes it or not, Stephanie might be pulling the strings on whether or how Deshawn rebuilds a bond with his mom. Remember, the court order wasn't just about letting Desiree back in. It was also about showing Deshawn his parents could coexist peacefully. The judge made it crystal clear, Drew had to lead by example. That meant open, mature communication, no fights, no ignoring, no passive-aggressive nonsense. Just respectful co-parenting so Deshawn wouldn't feel torn or ashamed to love both parents. But how can that happen if Stephanie is allegedly hijacking the whole process? Insiders say everything changed the moment Stephanie moved in. Even before the court ruling, Desiree was already blocked, no calls, no visits, nothing. For 3 years, she wasn't absent by choice, she was cut off. Quietly, strategically, completely. And now, despite the court's efforts, the same pattern is playing out again. People are saying it looks intentional. Stephanie sees Desiree as a threat, not just to her relationship, but to the perfect family image she's built online. Because if Drew starts openly co-parenting with Desiree, it would ruin the perfect family narrative Stephanie has worked so hard to create. And babe, let's talk stakes. This isn't about clout, it's about custody. If it's proven that Drew, with or without Stephanie's help, is breaking the parenting plan, he could lose custody of Deshawn altogether. Courts don't mess around when a child is blocked from a parent. If this keeps up, Stephanie could be the very reason Drew loses his son. And what about Deshawn? That's the real pain. This isn't just logistics, it's emotional damage. Every day without a call, without a visit, without a sign that his mom is still there, is another day teaching Deshawn maybe she doesn't matter. Maybe she's not worth missing. And that kind of hurt doesn't fade, it sinks deep into a child's heart. While Stephanie's out there making TikToks and posting family vlogs, the real drama is unfolding behind the scenes, where she's allegedly controlling way more than just social media content. She might actually be blocking a child's access to his own mother. The whole custody plan was meant to gently help Deshawn rebuild his bond with Desiree after years apart. It started with something simple but powerful, a calm, respectful conversation. Drew was supposed to communicate openly and kindly, especially in front of Deshawn, so the boy could see firsthand that his parents could get along.
The official order from Friday, but I'm not going to post it or screenshot it. In fact, I'm actually even going to paraphrase it. So I had already paraphrased several of the sections, but the section specifically about Stephanie and what Drew needed to prevent her from saying, I was pretty accurate in my memory, but I'll paraphrase it again and I'll put it on the screen. That also says that Drew will be basically encouraging and supportive, like eager or something like that, about the visit with Desiree. That was something she really emphasized, that Drew needs to get him excited about seeing his mom again. And then it also says that neither party will disparage the other in front of Deshawn or within his earshot, or let anybody else do it, speak that way. So that in itself also would kind of encompass Stephanie, but then it also specifically addresses Stephanie on social media. Desiree can't do it either, although not that she has been, right? Also, it says that the parties are like urged to work together to expand the amount of time that Desiree has with Deshawn between now and the next hearing. And that was what I already talked about as well, in terms of that they can agree to no restrictions and more visits and all that. So that, again, I think it's pretty clear. You can see what she's going to be asking about. And she said she's really looking forward to coming back and hearing the good news. So she put the pressure on. So we'll see. But I don't know. This is going to be an interesting couple of weeks.
These moments were designed to set an example, showing Deshawn that despite the past, there doesn't have to be tension or conflict between his parents. That it's safe and okay to love and have a connection with both of them. The goal was to create a peaceful space where Deshawn could feel secure, loved, and free of confusion or fear, but then everything started to fall apart. Instead of following through, Drew has been ignoring calls, leaving texts unread, and not responding to any attempts at communication. By doing this, he's effectively shutting down the whole process meant to protect Deshawn's emotional well-being. Deshawn is missing out on seeing his parents interact respectfully, and that silence sends a painful message, consciously or not, that his mom's presence and love don't matter. It's heartbreaking emotional neglect happening right under Drew's nose. Now, if Stephanie is the one intercepting calls or blocking conversations, this isn't just about jealousy or insecurity anymore. This is straight-up interference with a legal agreement. Stephanie isn't just some jealous partner, she's stepping into a role she legally has no right to play, and that kind of interference can get her into serious legal trouble.
Drew Jenkins, why are you ignoring Desiree's attempts at communication? You know the judge told you that you guys need to have a good relationship and talk and model healthy habits and behaviors in front of Deshawn. Why are you not responding to her requests or her questions? So if you don't know, Desiree and Drew went to court. They're fighting over the fact that Desiree just wants to know her kid. Like, is it that bad that she just wants to hang out and have a better relationship with her kid? Yeah, it is, especially when you're married to somebody like Stephanie Thompson Jenkins, whatever her last name is. She's not gonna let that happen. And so Drew has been ignoring and dodging all of her calls like she's the rent collector, like she's coming in to repossess his PS5. He's not answering any of her calls. And so this is explicitly breaking the directions that the judge gave Drew and also Desiree, which was just the fact that she wanted Desiree to, I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with these. Not an ad, but literally so good. She wanted Desiree and Jenkins to just get along before the visit that's supposed to happen next Sunday.
Courts do not take kindly to anyone who actively undermines custody orders, and if this continues, the consequences could be heavy. So why is Stephanie doing all this? It's clear this isn't accidental or a one-time slip. It's a deliberate, ongoing pattern fueled by control and deep insecurity. Stephanie has openly struggled with the fact that Drew has children with other women, and it weighs on her. She's made it clear, not just behind closed doors, but publicly too, that she wants more than a spot in Drew's life. She wants to erase everything and everyone who came before her. When it comes to Desiree and Deshawn, Stephanie isn't just looking for a connection, she's aiming to completely replace Desiree. Her push to become the sole mother figure has played out loudly on social media, where Stephanie repeatedly calls Deshawn "my son," even though she has no legal custody or guardianship. Through her posts, comments, and captions, she keeps reinforcing the message that she is the real mom, effectively erasing Desiree from Deshawn's life in the eyes of the public. but legally, Stephanie has no backing. She's not Deshawn's biological mother, nor does she have any parental rights recognized by the courts. Still, she acts like she does, making decisions and controlling narratives that aren't hers to control. This is likely the heart of her behavior. It's not about what's best for Deshawn or respecting court orders. It's about Stephanie's fear. She's terrified that if J.E. and Desiree rebuild their relationship, her carefully crafted role will collapse. If Deshawn starts bonding again with his mother, Stephanie risks losing the control and influence she's fought hard to maintain. Instead of protecting Deshawn's emotional well-being, she's protecting her own position in J.E.'s life by trying to bury the past, even if that means cutting a child off from his mother all over again. And Stephanie isn't sneaky about it. She's blatantly crossing boundaries on social media in front of thousands of people.
Go on, explain yourself. If I explain myself, you're not even going to take 2 seconds to actually pay attention to my perspective. You're going to go ahead and listen to all the perspectives that are put out there about me. Make that make sense. You want me to sit here and explain my side of the story, but you're not even going to listen to it. So what the fuck is the point? I even see people say, I'm never going to waste time and go watch her videos. I'm never going to give her the time of day. How the fuck are you going to get to know if what everything is being said about me is actually accurate if you've never given me the time of day to get to know me? You think I give a fuck about your opinion? No. All I will say is accidents happen, and if I was some kind of Drew would not be with me. He most definitely would not be with me. I don't smack my kids around. I love my kids. Y'all just searching for anything you can to try to put the blame back on me instead of call out the person who neglected to be a part of his life up until this point. She didn't so much as call, then show up at the door like she be trying to do now. Y'all think that, oh, I went to the door and they didn't answer my video. And I gotta articulate myself because I'm trying not to come out this as mama bear as I want to, because girl, you don't even know his favorite food, you don't know his favorite song, you don't know nothing about him, and you didn't give 2 fucks until this moment. And that's just, it makes my stomach turn. He deserves so much better. If you cared, the thought would have been there forever ago. I'm trying to push out this narrative about who the fuck I am. Ask the kid himself who he sees as mama.
Even though the court order didn't name her specifically, it clearly tasked J.E. with making sure Stephanie stayed away from discussing or posting anything about Desiree online. J.E. was supposed to enforce these boundaries, not just to follow the law, but to protect Deshawn's emotional health. There's absolutely no room for interpretation here. Since that court order was issued, Stephanie has done the exact opposite. She's been posting about Deshawn constantly on her social media, not just once or twice, but regularly. She calls him "my son" in captions, creates family-style content where she positions herself as the only mother figure in his life, and shares clips of them hugging, eating, and hanging out like she's fully taken over the role of Deshawn's mom. This isn't just inappropriate, it's harmful. While Stephanie paints a perfect mom image online, Desiree is out there fighting tooth and nail to rebuild a relationship that was ripped from her for years. She's trying to follow the court's orders, with patience and respect for boundaries. Every time Stephanie posts another TikTok claiming Deshawn as her own, she feeds a false story, a story Deshawn might start to believe that his real mother doesn't matter, that she walked away, when in reality, she was shut out. This digital erasure isn't just disrespectful, it undermines the court's authority, erases Desiree's rightful role as Deshawn's mother, and confuses Deshawn as he tries to understand where he belongs and who truly loves him unconditionally. Stephanie even has the audacity to say she'll keep posting because she knows her rights and refuses to be silenced, especially on platforms like TikTok where she's built a following. But here's the reality check that shows a serious misunderstanding of the law. When a judge issues a court order regarding a child, personal opinions and social media posts don't matter. The court's ruling is final and legally binding. You can't defy it by going live or posting videos. Stephanie is dangerously misreading the situation. Legally, she has zero parental rights or authority over Deshawn, no matter how many times she says "my son" or acts like she's his mother. The law does not recognize her that way. So when rules are broken, the responsibility falls on J.E., the one who appeared in court, received the instructions, and was tasked with ensuring Stephanie follows them. If Stephanie crosses the line, it's J.E. who could face legal trouble. He risks contempt of court, losing custody, and being blamed for allowing this chaos to unfold. Stephanie may be the loud one, but J.E. is the one who could pay the price. What Deshawn really needs isn't more confusion or silence, it's honesty. Someone has to explain the truth to him clearly, without distortion. He deserves to form his own feelings about his mother without anyone twisting the story for their own gain. Every child deserves to know their story, feel secure in it, and above all, feel safe loving both parents. Deshawn deserves a childhood free from guilt or confusion, where he can love both his parents without feeling like he's betraying one or the other. That's what healthy co-parenting is all about. It's the foundation for healing wounds that have been open far too long. But sadly, that kind of peace seems almost impossible right now because Stephanie keeps shutting down every effort to rebuild the connection between Deshawn and his mother, Desiree. Every call Stephanie blocks, every text she ignores, every time she publicly paints Desiree as the villain, it's like she's building an invisible wall around Deshawn, a barrier that keeps him from knowing the full truth about his family and his own identity. If Stephanie truly cared about Deshawn's well-being, not just her own image or place in his life, she would be supporting JE in fostering honest and respectful communication. She would be encouraging the kind of co-parenting that puts Deshawn's emotional health first. Instead, she's letting jealousy, insecurity, and control rule her actions, actively preventing Deshawn from rebuilding a bond with the woman who gave birth to him. But here's where the story gets even more serious. Stephanie's actions, whether she realizes it or not, could seriously backfire on her and on JE. Every unanswered phone call and every blocked message is potential evidence Desiree can bring to court. Judges take allegations of parental alienation very seriously. When there's a clear, ongoing pattern of one parent or their partner actively blocking contact between a child and the other parent, especially after a court order, there can be major legal consequences. If the judge determines that JE, under Stephanie's influence, is continuing to keep Desiree away from Deshawn despite the court's instructions, JE could risk losing custody altogether.